Hello there, everybody, and welcome back. So let's quickly talk about AI content detectors. Now, first of all, go to Google and look for AI content detector. There's actually plenty of them. And by the way, if I just thought of this earlier, this is something I really missed out on. Now, creating these tools is not so complicated as you might think, because let me tell you, you can actually ask ChatGPT to write you the code for these particular content detectors. Okay, and so there are a lot of people out there that went ahead and created these tools, which they really helped them do well because there was so much traffic for such tools. And I would assume these websites have made hundreds of thousands of dollars in terms of profit from this idea. Now, of course, I can't blame myself, or I can't blame the world, because I could have just jumped out there and created the tool, or basically hired a professional to do that for me. But you live and you learn. But anyways, these content detectors are really in demand. And so when you search for AI content detector on the internet, you'll find the first one is actually writer.com, which is a famous website. So they've added a AI content detector on their website, okay? So open up that first one. Then the second one is CopyLeaks. Open it as well. Then Crossblag, open that one as well. And I would like you to open Content at Scale as well. So I think 4 AI content detectors are enough. So in order to detect whether your content is AI generated, then you have to first of all go back to your content. Now, I would advise you not to copy the entire content, because that's not really the best way to do it. Just copy parts of your content, and let's do it like this. Now, you can copy the entire content if you want to, but there are some tools that have a limit of characters. For example, this one here has a limit. 1,500 characters per test. So you'd have to copy as much as you can. Now over here, we cut as much as we could, but still we are on the limit. So let me just remove parts up until 4. Now it's fine. And we can analyze the text. So here it says that this is 95% human generated, which is pretty fantastic. And this comes really across as genuinely 100% unique human text. So I'm going to go ahead and do something else. I'm going to copy now the entire blog, okay, the entire blog post. And I'm going to go back to this website, CopyLeaks. Now, CopyLeaks here, they don't really have a limit as to how many characters you can add. So I'm just going to add as much as I can. They might have a limit, but it's not shown. So here it says AI content detected. So the AI content detected is the content that is detected in red. And so when you hover over it, for example, here it tells you that this content in red, there is 76% chance that this is AI, right? There's a probability that it could be AI, which is true because, it's right. But some content, it really missed. But for most of the content, it really basically came really close to it. So, here, the result is, or let's just say the judgment, is AI content. This is AI content according to this tool. So let's try other tools. Now, the amazing part about CopyLeaks is that it tells you which parts of your blog are AI content detected, so that you can go ahead and edit those, which is pretty amazing. Now, let's run the test through Crossblag. So actually here I have to basically log into my account. So I'm actually logged in. They're telling me that I have 10 credits available, but normally I can use as many as I want. So I'm just going to click over here on try it out for free, and it opens this up. And I can just basically paste the content right here as is. Now let me run a check quickly on the percentage. Now this one also is really legit. This tool, Crossblag, according to my experience, and I've generated a ton of articles using ChatGPT. It really is, in most cases, it will not miss out. It will almost all the time tell you this content is AI generated. So it really generates content efficiently. Now, this is the last one we're going to use, which is content at scale. And by the way, you'll find all these links in the resources, so don't worry. Basically, copied pasted this here, and let's check for AI content. And in this lecture, I'll show you how you can bypass AI content detectors using a very basic skill, which is called repurposing the content. Basically using, first of all, ChatGPT And I'm going to show you how you can do that manually using Grammarly. But how would you do that using ChatGPT? Okay, rest assured. So here, according to the text, this is 80%, 84% likely to be human. And on the right-hand side, you can see that here, this is AI generated. It says that it's unclear if it's AI generated, but there is a doubt that this is AI generated. So how would you go about repurposing this text and changing it in a way that is no longer detected as AI content? Now, you can copy this and go ahead and open up a new content at scale window. So content at scale, open up a new one because you don't want to close the other one. You want to keep the other one open, then open a new one. Now, if you run the same text again through another check, let's just make sure that it's predicting, right? So here it says that this is AI generated, and it's just 17% likely to be human. So it's highly likely to be AI generated. Now you can repurpose this by going back to here to ChatGPT, and you could say, open up a new chat and say repurpose the following paragraph in a more human form or a more human way instead of coming across as AI content. And open up brackets, just simply paste in your text, okay? And so right now it's gonna go ahead and it basically what it did is it repurposed the content. So this is the content, it repurposed it. Now here it says, here we've got something exciting for you today, a list of the top 7 exercises that will help you build muscle and increase your strength. These exercises are going to be game changer for your fitness journey. This, to me, sounds more like a human, but let's see what content at scale has to say. So let's replace that text with the new one that we've created, and let's see. Now again, 16% likely. So we can go back and say, it still is detected as AI. Try something else. So we asked ChatGPT again, you're still filtered, you're still caught by the filter. So produce something new. And let's just see now the result. Now, normally this works in most cases. In this case, I don't know why it really didn't work. But let's just run the test for another time here and see. So now it's 46%. You can see that just the first paragraph is caught as, let's just say, AI content generated. So you can basically just remove that first text, right? So instead of keeping it here, you can remove it. So I basically actually removed it, and I can just click check for AI content right now, and let's see the results. Now 85% sounds cool, but what is the other way that I said I'm going to mention that you can actually use, which I believe is an even better way to repurpose content and make sure that it comes across as 100% human written, though it takes more work, I have to tell you. Now I'm going to copy the text that according to that tool is not plagiarized, but AI content. And I want you to go and open up a Grammarly app. Now Grammarly, there is a free and a pro version. I'm using the pro version, which is for $144 a year, which actually allows me to set the goals, to basically optimize for my overall score, and also do a plagiarism checker. And it also allows me to download my projects on Grammarly so that whenever I want to use them, I can go back to them. There's a whole host of things that Grammarly allows for people to do. You can also choose the language of your preference, and it helps you correct mistakes, gives you suggestions to make your text better, and better of all, you can actually have access to Grammarly, the extension, okay? Which, if you're operating anywhere, it can actually give you insights and tell you your text needs editing. This is a mistake, add a dot here, add a comma here, which comes in really handy. So I'm going to paste in the content that comes across as AI generated. And what I'm going to do is just basically, I'm going to repurpose the content. So instead of today, I can click over here and see if there are any synonyms. So if you select a word and click twice on it, what happens is when that word is selected, Grammarly is going to give you some suggestions. For example, here, bringing. We are conveying or getting, now conveying might be conveying instead of you, conveying the top 7 exercises. Instead of exercises, let's just go with 7 workouts for building muscle, or instead of building muscle for now producing, assembling, I'm just going to leave it at that. And for muscle, instead of muscle, we could say muscles. And boosting, instead of boosting, we'll say probably increasing strength. You could also change strength to something else. It's power or resilience, or now power is more like it. So I'm just going to probably go with it. But I think strength, if we remove it, it's actually going to sound really awful. So I'm going to copy this like this, go back to the same particular website that we ran the test through. I'm going to click on check for AI content. So let's run the test. Now it's 100% human. So this is a way that you can use Grammarly to basically change the text and make it come across as human. Now this will take some time from you, but as opposed to the other way, which is using ChatGPT to repurpose the text, we've seen that that was not really that much effective because we've had to prompt ChatGPT twice only to get 45%. Now, this way is more, should I say, reliable and 100% going to work all the time. Now, of course, different tools give different results. In my opinion, you should pay careful attention to what the tools tell you is AI generated or has a probability of getting caught by the filters as AI generated content, because nobody knows what's going to happen in the future about copyright and also about whether or not Google is going to sanction AI content in general. So in order to be prepared for this, you have to make sure that your content in the first place does not get detected as an AI content. And so this is a way that you do that. There's also an important thing that we didn't talk about, which is checking for plagiarism. Now, to check for plagiarism, we actually have 2 tools. The first one I'm going to start with and explain it is Grammarly. So here I can go and open up a new file in Grammarly, copy paste my blog, and over here when it comes to the domain, I'll choose general. The intent, I'll choose convince and tell a story. Audience general, formality, and formal. Now if I click on done, now of course Grammarly allows me to fine-tune my posts, and here it gives me all sorts of mistakes that I can actually change. And by the way, all the mistakes that Grammarly tells you are mistakes, sometimes they're not mistakes. So you'd have to read whether or not that's acceptable for you. So don't take everything Grammarly tells you not for granted, but don't take it as is. That's what I'm trying to say. So here you can correct these mistakes. Now in my case, I'm gonna click out of here, click over here, and I want to check the plagiarism because I'm more interested in that. So I'm gonna click plagiarism. Now over here, it's gonna tell me exactly what is the percentage of plagiarism of this particular text generated by ChatGPT. In most cases, you don't even have to run the plagiarism checker because ChatGPT is really awesome when it comes to generating text that has very, very low plagiarism. And you can see the result speaks for itself, 2%. 2% plagiarism for a text of 525 words. And in most cases, this is what happens usually with ChatGPT. In almost all cases, ChatGPT gives you a text that has very, very low plagiarism, which actually, in my opinion, you can take it from me, okay? Now, you don't really have to check content of ChatGPT content for plagiarism because it is that good. But in case your customer demands it, because you're going to be working as a freelance copywriter, your customer might demand that, hey, I want you to provide me with a report that tells me how much is the percentage of plagiarism for the blog that you've just delivered me. And in order for you to provide that, you have to run it through a test in the first place. So the first test is Grammarly, but there are other tests. So there's a website known as Copyscape, which is also a website that you can go to. It's pretty good, except for it's not like Grammarly. With Grammarly, you pay $144, and it's a 1-year membership. Okay, it's a 1-year membership, and you can run as many plagiarism checkers as you want. You can open up as many files as you want, as many projects, save as many files, and that's pretty good, and all for $144. But for Copyscape, it's actually a credit-based website, which means that in order for you to run a plagiarism checker on Copyscape, you would have to, obviously, pay per credit. And I think that you'd pay something like a $10 for every 100 plagiarism checks. And also where actually Grammarly, I think, beats Copyscape is it actually tells you in red, it outlines in red the content that is subject to plagiarism. So for instance here, the content that is causing the 2% plagiarism in this text is the bench press as a classic exercise 4. And you can actually make it 0% plagiarism if you so desire by simply changing this. Instead of saying the bench press is a classic exercise, you can say is the best exercise or the best workout. And now you can see that after I've just basically changed a classic to the best, now it's up to 100% original. So 0% plagiarism. Copyscape won't actually tell you that. It will tell you the percentage, but it actually, if I'm correct, last time I used it, it won't actually tell you where is the plagiarism or what content or what paragraph or what text is actually causing that plagiarism to be in the first place. So it's actually pretty easy to navigate your way through Copyscape. All you have to do is to go to copyscape.com and over here click on plagiarism. Of course, you'd have to purchase credits, right, to be able to basically check for plagiarism. And without further ado, I think that you've had enough for plagiarism checking and AI content detection and all of the above. And in the next lecture, I'm going to go ahead and show you how you can optimize content for SEO using rank math to get it to up to 100 in terms of the score. Stay tuned and see you in the next lecture.